So our final story of the day is Catelynn and Tyler. It's been a while since we've spoken about them, actually, and that weird controversy that they had where they were messaging with a purported minor about their daughter, CARLY. They were trying to, quote unquote, help CARLY escape from her overly religious parents and her religious cult and all this stuff, right? Those texts were leaked, and it was a very, very bad time for Catelynn and Tyler. And yeah, they're opening up about what that was all about, right? So shout out to the Ashley's Reality Roundup for catching this recap. Okay, so let's see. Where was I? They were talking about this in the latest episode of their Kate and Ty Break It Down podcast. I have to go listen to that. Listen, I'm a bit behind on my podcast. So they said that they took full accountability for being wrong. Should the conversation have happened that as long as it did? Absolutely not. But I've said this multiple times. It was just the desperation. That's what happened. And I think desperation, it has a root cause. Why was I so desperate to make sure that these things that we were hearing about were not happening? If we had access to information about CARLY, none of this would have happened. Well, listen, your adoption is kind of closed, unfortunately. And so you don't really get that kind of information. So, that's what makes adoption so difficult, I feel like, right? Is that you're hoping and praying that you have given your child to a family that's going to love your child, protect your child, and care for your child. It's just, you never fully know if that's the case. And that's the scary thing about it, So I get that fear and I get that anxiety, but I hate that it transformed them into what it transformed them into, right? As far as the things that they said about CARLY's parents and their community and everything like that. And so they said that they had been hearing things about CARLY's life and her church that concerned them. And that's what pushed them to go and talk to these people. Catelynn said, and I quote, "I still to this day believe it's somebody who knows her. It's somebody who's involved in the community. Nobody else would know these things about CARLY that this person knew." So when she was telling us these scary things about CARLY's life that we were nervous about, part of you was like, I need to know more information to see if this is fully true. I would feel like any natural parent would immediately go into action mode, Tyler added. When you don't have access to do action mode, you go to the next best thing, which is, okay, I'm going to try to get as much information as possible. Again, parent, but when you place your child for adoption and you give up your parental rights, you are no longer the parents of this child who gets to have any kind of a say in these sorts of things. And like, okay, you can hate their religion or their traditions or their beliefs or whatever in this community all you want, but that does not give you the right to go contact minors, try to go behind her parents' back it's weird. In my opinion, if you really felt like she was in danger or being mistreated or neglected, or she was in an actual cult, you would have gone to the police or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make sense to me personally, right? So again, they admit fault, right? Tyler says, should we have done that? It's kind of hard because I couldn't get a hold of CARLY's parents. If I could have talked to her parents, this would have never happened. So it's Brandon and Teresa's fault, essentially, right? And this is why people are still upset at them. They're not taking full accountability and responsibility for what it is that they did. This is not Brandon and Teresa's fault. Brandon and Teresa do not need to answer to you guys about how they're raising their child, right? Come on now. Absolutely strange. So now they're saying that, we're being harsh on them because we don't understand that PTSD of relinquishment. So this is what Catelynn's saying. You don't understand the PTSD of your adoption getting closed and all these other promises not kept to you. You're not going to understand what your mind will do to you when you want to know. So for the normal person who's not involved in the dynamic of adoption, yeah, what we did is going to look effing crazy. And you know what? I can say that I can agree with her here, right? Like I imagine it's very, very difficult. I feel like maybe you never get a moment of peace, when you're in a closed adoption, because you're just wondering what is happening. Like, how is my child living? How is my child being treated? Like, you really, truly don't know. So I understand that. But again, like, why don't you just acknowledge that what you did was inappropriate and leave it at that, instead of trying to blame Brandon and Teresa and then now trying to tell us that we're crazy and we don't understand, because here's the thing. They weren't even concerned that these two were beating CARLY, that they were abusing her, torture, like nothing, not giving her a proper education. No, they just didn't like that CARLY was in a religious school, or going to church or something like that. Tyler was talking to an alleged child saying, oh, like you're brainwashed. Why do you believe in God? Like trying to debate with a child about like the religion that the child's parents is raising them in, which is just, it's strange, like I don't understand it. Like this is what's concerning you, the fact that you think this child is being brainwashed to believe in a religion. Isn't that what's happening in the majority of the world? Like, people believe in a certain religion, then they teach their kids to believe in the same thing. Like, is that abuse? I don't think so personally. Let me see what y'all have to say about that. Because I don't see how that's like abuse or mistreatment or anything like that. It's very strange. Just saying. Castle Magic says, I think I'm the only goth from my school that never grew out of it. I just grew older and started wearing all black, adult, sophisticated outfits. I love an all black look, girl. But he says, there's never an excuse to talk in secret with a child. Such a red flag. I can only imagine how they would feel if an adult did that to one of theirs. Exactly. Being concerned about the religion your child is being raised in is not an excuse to go running around talking to children behind their parents' back. Like, what is that? What are you guys talking about? Kate and Ty are totally wrong for what they did about the messaging with somebody who could have been a minor. Exactly. This is creepy stalker behavior. Yup. Acacia says, Kate should focus on her relationship. It seems like something is very wrong with her and Tyler. She doesn't look well at all. Let's talk about that. Can I just say, this is something I don't understand about some of these teen mom people. They have all the time and money in the world to take care of themselves and to take care of their health. And it's like the last thing on their priority list. I just do not understand it. Truly, like your health is everything, like it really impacts the quality of your life. And, of course, like some people have like chronic conditions or this, that, or the other. But, if you're not in that boat and you're able to like, get out there, be active, eat well and do that stuff, do it, like that's just something that's so concerning to me about so many people in this show. Like, I feel like their lifestyles are just so like sad. Like there's nothing going on to live a healthy life, to have like a certain level of curiosity. Do you hear about Catelynn and Tyler even traveling, going anywhere, doing anything? Like not really. Like mental health even wise, like I don't know. I remember she bought a horse for her mental health and never really did anything with it. Like, remember it was like all matted in the barn, barely ridden and stuff. Like, what is this, right? I believe them, but they were wrong. Exactly. Again, they did not think that Brandon and Teresa were actually genuinely harming that child. They just were upset about the religious aspect. Y'all gave your child to these people who told you that they were heavily involved in the church and that the lady was a stay-at-home mom. They were somewhere in North Carolina or South. Like, what did you think they were? Of course they were going to be like hella religious. Like, what are you talking about? Didn't they have people from their church like testify on their behalf? Like, it was all well and good when you were choosing them as parents. Now all of a sudden it's not because your beliefs have changed. You don't get to just snatch Carly back because all of a sudden you don't like what you initially chose for her. Cammy says they should just leave Carly alone until she's 18. They're making things worse. Exactly. I think they've ruined it now. You don't have access because you didn't follow her parents' rules, period. They could have still had access if they respected things. I don't know how after all these years, they still don't understand what an adoption entails or what a legal parent is. You need to stop this tired story. I'm telling you, I feel terribly for them. I do believe that they were manipulated. I do believe that they were lied to in some respects and whatnot. But at a certain point, you have to just ride out the time you have and then hope for the opportunity to connect with the child. 2 years is nothing. It really isn't. By the way, in 2 years, God willing, inshallah, I will be able to apply for nationality. Not even 2 years, actually, a year and a half. You see how quickly these things fly by? Just write it out. Look, when Carly speaks out about it, then we write it, and then we're going to stay seated. Exactly. From what I hear, she's doing just fine. She's doing just fine, right? They were too young to understand. Exactly. And that's what makes me so sad. They were children being sold these dreams and these hopes. They thought like these people were babysitting their child essentially, and that they were going to give her back to them, when they were stable. But it just does not work that way. Tamara says, I do like Kate and Ty, and I know they have a lot of trauma, but they need to realize that their actions could be causing Carly drama. Yup. They need to stop or they'll push her away forever. And I agree. I very much empathize with them because they were children. They didn't have proper guidance. But, at this point, they have to think about Carly and they have to stop, quit while they're behind. Hey, Brandon, nice to see you. Happy Tuesday. She's looking a lot like April. And that's the thing. She has all the time and money in the world. These kids are in school. They do a podcast like once a week or something like that, which means that you've got a lot of freaking time to do things, to care for yourself. Like, I just do not get it. Y'all, I am up at the butt crack of dawn, like 5:30 a.m. to go to the gym, work full days, do all the things you do. Like, these people don't do anything. She can go to the gym at like in the middle of the afternoon if she feels like it, like Tyler too. I know Tyler got his thing to be a trainer, but it just, I don't think he even keeps up with it. I remember she went and she, didn't she get like this thing to like microblade brows or to do lashes? That didn't even last either. Like, they keep on trying these careers or whatever. Wasn't Tyler supposed to be flipping houses, becoming a contract, like something, right? Like that. Then there was like the personal trainer thing. None of this stuff sticks. Like, they need to do things. Like, you can't just do nothing all day. You don't even have to have a work or traditional job, but do something, like something. Get your mind up and running. Guy says it depends. Some churches over here isolate their members. Most of my classmates didn't have friends or acquaintances outside of our church. It's very sad. Now I will tell you, I dated this guy. His sister, well, like, they were Orthodox Christians, but then the sister and the husband, they live in Chile, and they were so deep into whatever it is that they believe in that they don't watch anything. They don't watch TV. They don't listen to music. They only listen to a Christian radio station or a Catholic radio station or something like that. And all this stuff, she doesn't wear pants, like this type of stuff. I was like, oh, that is very, very interesting, but listen, these are adults. They chose that life, everybody's got their own things, I guess. Brandon says they're too egotistical at a certain point, probably. Why should I do the work? Exactly. Right. It is what it is. Maybe Carly's going to be super religious, super conservative. But again, what did you expect when you went and said, hey, let me choose the family from North Carolina that very strongly believes in gender roles, that is very heavily entrenched in their church? What did you think was going to happen? Right? What did you think was going to happen? Right? And yes, it was a Christian adoption agency. And they were really out there trying to push all these girls, these teenage girls, to go, don't have abortions, only go down the adoption route, all this stuff. They too were out there, right? Trying to preach hard to people and using religion, so because their views have changed all of a sudden, everything is evil, everything, that doesn't align with them is just bad or whatever. Like, come on now. You know what they need to do on Netflix? Speaking of adoption industry, Gwen and everybody, I think Netflix needs to do a good documentary. Listen, they're so good at documentaries. I'm going to watch that. What is it called? Terrible Neighbor. Apparently that's really good. I'm going to watch that. But they need to do a good one on the adoption industry, because again, a lot of people are so stuck on this belief that like it's all rainbows and butterflies and all these great things, but listen, in some of these instances, or in a lot of these instances, it's just child trafficking. It's human trafficking, it's all about the mighty dollar. So I would love to see a good documentary on it. And how many like tragic stories have you heard about certain, adoptions and whatnot too, right? Like, I want to see a good, like, let's peel the lid back on this industry, right? Like, I would love to see. And if you guys have already seen a really good documentary about the adoption industry, I would love to get your recommendations, because I do find it to be very, very interesting, right? Well, have a good trip, Gwen. And again, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've got a lot going on, and I hope that our almost 2 hours together was able to cheer you up and help you think about, different things. And again, have a safe trip. So sorry for your loss, and take good care of yourself. And, I can't wait to hear from you again when all is said and done. I'm going to be thinking about you. Okay. So take care, Gwen. Thanks for joining us. T-Snap says the church uses people by control of religion. And somebody was mentioning this earlier. I saw the video, this preacher, one of those mega church preachers, who was like, oh, you guys need to donate $2,000. And this lady donated a whopping $1,200, which is an insane amount of money to donate. Might I say, that is so generous. And he was chastising her. I said, you know what? Come on. How are people still going to these mega churches, with these freaking scammers? You go out of the goodness of your heart. You give $1,200, which is incredible, truly, to a pastor, and he mocks you. He says you're not listening. He demanded $2,000. Ew, just ew. You see, it's a business. It's money. A lot of people do it for good reasons, but also, like any other industry, any other business, there's a lot of, darkness and ugliness that happens there too. All right. Well, I love that. That's good. That means okay. That means that you weren't bored. So I love that. I love that. I love that. I might kill it. Is good on there. Is it? Oh God, I'm so scared. Listen, okay, I'll try it. But I'm gonna try that Bad Neighbor. Listen, I'm gonna watch that movie tonight. I have to go on a walk for a bit, and then I'm going directly to the movie theaters. I'm watching. What was it called again? What did I tell y'all I'm watching? It's a new Stephen King movie. It's like Walk or Die or something like that. I'm gonna watch that, and I'll tell y'all all about it. Okay. You guys, thank you so much for joining me for a mega long episode of the Morning Report. I've been having a very, very busy October. So like, my weeks are short as far as this show is concerned. So I'm really happy to be able to put together a big mega episode for us today. So thank y'all so much for hanging in there with me for like almost 2 hours. I do have to leave now though. But I will be back again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk more about the day's hottest stories. If you enjoyed today's episode of the show, please, please, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up on your way out, okay? See you tomorrow, guys. Have a great day. Bye.